For many years, Taiwanese defense planners assumed that, if and when China invades the island democracy, the main Chinese force would sail across the 100-mile Taiwan Strait and assault the beaches of southwestern Taiwan. But that thinking is changing as the People's Liberation Army grows more powerful. Tzu-yun, a researcher at the Institute of National Security and Defense Research in Taipei, this month warned about what Taipei Times called multi-pronged amphibious operations. It's now possible for the PLA to attack Taiwan along multiple axes. The more different directions the Chinese come from, the harder it would be for Taiwanese forces to organize an effective defense. There are obvious reasons for the PLA to aim for southwestern Taiwan. That's where the island's most accessible beaches are. But the rudimentary state of Chinese amphibious forces, until recently, was another factor. To transport assault troops across the strait, the PLA Navy for decades relied on commercial-style shipping. This ad hoc flotilla could lift just 10,000 troops at a time and would have struggled to swiftly land troops while under fire. In 1999, the Brookings Institution analysts Gill and Michael O'Hanlon called the prospect of a Chinese amphibious invasion an empty threat. 22 years later, the situation has changed. The plan is building up a fleet of around 8 modern Type 071 landing docks and 3 Type 075 big-deck assault ships, together representing one of the biggest amphibious forces in the world. These 11 ships alone could haul 25,000 Marines and land them via helicopter and hovercraft. Add scores of useful transports that the plan could take up from trade, and the Chinese could form several amphibious groups, each capable of lifting thousands of troops. China has a range of options for military campaigns against Taiwan, from an air and maritime blockade to a full-scale amphibious invasion to seize and occupy some or all of Taiwan or its offshore islands. The Office of the U.S. Secretary of Defense concluded in its 2020 assessment of the Chinese military. Today, Chinese Marine forces are capable of conducting amphibious assault operations using combined arms tactics and multiple avenues of approach, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency stated in a 2019 report. In other words, in wartime Taiwan should expect Chinese forces to attack from multiple directions. Even if that means Chinese troops would have to land on less than ideal terrain, the rockier beaches of northern Taiwan with their steep cliffs, for instance. When Ian Sullivan, an intelligence official at the U.S. Army's Training and Doctrine Command, simulated a war across the Taiwan Strait, he had Chinese amphibious forces landing outside the city of Hsinchu, on Taiwan's northwestern coast. And it's obvious that, during a crisis, the PLA aims to circle around Taiwan and threaten the country from the east.